Hey guys, I am totally delusional, but maybe not in the way you think. Here's 5 things to know about that. Okay, as usual, like, subscribe, and follow. Okay, so I am absolutely delusional. And I embrace it. What? How can someone know that they are delusional but love it anyway? Well, because at some point I realized it's the only real way to live, right? Here's what happened. I lived most of my life being afraid of being delusional, and so I hyper-focused on other delusional people and their shortcomings. Especially in the world of show business. There's a lot of delusional people in show business. I see a ton of comedians who go up week after week after week after week with jokes that just do not work, and then they blame the audience. I see people who are not very funny, and they don't understand why they're not getting booked on shows. When it's obvious to me that they may not be as funny as they think, or if they are, they don't have the name recognition, or there may be other factors at play that explain why they're not getting booked on shows, right? I see actors who think they should have been cast instead of Emma Stone for that Oscar-winning role when they don't have any credits to their name and nobody really knows them. So when I see this, it makes me uncomfortable because, these people believe that they deserve this thing. And I find this to be disturbing and delusional. Don't they know? Then there are people whole other group of people who fake it till they make it. They will say they have a big movie they have in the works when in fact they do not. They will say they're friends with Dane Cook and perform with him all the time. And in fact, it happened only one time. And because Dane Cook happened to drop in on a show that he was performing on or something like that. They will say they're an entrepreneur and can deliver X, Y, and Z through their connections when in fact they cannot, and they don't actually deliver much at all. I've been a victim to a lot of these people. Being witness to this and living this over and over, I took the tactic of doubling down on making sure that I stay in reality. I was never gonna talk about me and my successes. I was not going to bring up what I am up to. I was never gonna think I am funny enough for myself, but instead let the audience decide. I was never going to make promises that are a stretch that I'm not 1,000% sure that I can deliver on. Until the swinging of the pendulum started presenting its own problems. I started gaslighting myself into believing that I am not all that. I started believing that I'm not actually worth it. I started believing that if I were to actually believe that I was worth it, I would be delusional like those crazy people who lie and make up stories for themselves. But after having reflected, I think I'm going to opt into delusion now, and it's actually better than gaslighting myself, right? So here's 5 things I learned. And number 1, you will always come across as delusional to someone, no matter who you are. People can think you're delusional for whatever reason. People look at Halle Berry as an actress and they say she's a terrible actress and she's delusional. She's an Academy Award-winning actress. I've heard it. And so somebody is delusional to someone all the time. Last week I talked about my friend, a self-proclaimed big girl who has the confidence and she knows she's beautiful. I find her beautiful. I think she's gorgeous, but she has been a victim of bullying. So then, does she abandon her own belief that she is beautiful and go with the crowd who bullied her for fear of being delusional in her confidence? That is absolutely absurd. I think that is crazier than actually holding your own person. So if I'm watching her, I can take the position of believing in her and cheering her on for leaning inward for her beliefs. But I can't do that for me. And it was a big moment. And I realized that some people out there think I should not do comedy, right? Some people think I should not be trying to spread yayful joy. Some people don't like that. Some people on my friends on Facebook said who do you think you are? I've gotten that. And I get that kind of response, you're not qualified to do this, leave it to a psychologist. Some people think I'm too young, or too old, or too casual, or whatever. And I realize there's always going to be people who are not going to think I am on the mark. And so since that is so unsustainable to lean out and look outside for approval, I must lean inward for my good opinion. That is the first thing I learned. The second thing I learned, I had to explore what I actually think. Instead of looking outward for other people's good opinion, I started to choose to look within, which means I really had to identify what I thought about my abilities. You know what? I think I'm pretty proficient because from my accomplishments, from a practical standpoint, I think it merits that I am a proficient person. But then I immediately started thinking, oh no, what if I'm great all by myself? What if I'm in my own world? And that is when I came up with this technique. Okay, that's number 3. Being delusional like a scientist. Okay, so Edison made 1,000 failed attempts at inventing the light bulb, and he was delusional in the eyes of most because he had a vision that most others did not see yet. However, I think Edison was great because he was delusional like a scientist. He was able to gather data from his failures and try again and fix what he felt didn't work, and then go and reinvent and try again and then fix what didn't work. And he did this process again and again and again and again. He never went to, I am a terrible scientist, I should just quit. He actually kept trying, keeping the belief in himself that he was a good scientist, but that maybe he hadn't found the right solution, the right combination. I think this is a really healthy way to think, and this gave me a brand new perspective. A comedian who goes on stage night after night with jokes that do not work over and over and over again and blames the audience, that is delusional. In a way, they are walled off to feedback as a way to protect themselves. But it's like Edison releasing the same light bulb that doesn't work again and again and again, then blames everyone for not acknowledging the light when there was no light in the first place, right? So I realized I can be the kind of delusional that knows, hey, I have something wonderful with my product, and hey, I'm a good comedian and writer. Okay, I may miss the mark here and there, but that does not mean that I am a bad comedian. It does not mean I am a bad writer, a bad entrepreneur. It just means I missed the mark as I'm trying to find my way through this. So I can take the information at hand, a bombed set, a misstep in product launch, or a misspoken word, and examine the cause and effect and adjust what I'm doing to become even stronger. But at the core, I can maintain a knowing that I am a strong and capable person, or whatever I am. Right? Number 4 is, some people will just not believe you, so let them think you're delusional. Okay, when I tell people that I do comedy and corporate trainings and I have a best-selling book and a business, some people just don't believe me. They just kind of go, yeah, sure, and they kind of roll their eyes. And I understand that response because this is in response to people that I've come across who pop off their actual accomplishments. So it's so prevalent here, especially in Hollywood. And I'm quite afraid of this response. And I was so afraid of it that I kept all my wins to myself and never told people anything. And I got into the practice of downplaying myself, purposefully playing small so that I wouldn't have to face the ire of those people who don't believe me. Because that's painful. And by playing this way, I actually lost contracts because I was underselling. At some point, you have to decide, who cares? Here are the facts. I did do those things. Suck at peanut galleries. So it's not little. It's a big deal. It took a lot of work for me. And so at what point do I stop living for other people and start living for myself? So I decided I'm no longer going to play small. I did some amazing things and I think I deserve to step into it, right? And the number 5 thing I learned is stop internalizing. I think that part of being a successfully delusional person has to do with accepting that you're not going to be perfect. And there is always room for growth. I think I was confusing defending oneself from facing unwanted results with belief in oneself, right? I can believe in myself and take in the external feedback, feed it through my system, and apply corrections to come back better next time. And that is not the same as placing the blame for an undesired result completely outside of me and say, oh, that joke didn't work because the audience sucks. No, the feedback says it doesn't get consistent results. So let's take it in and correct it so that it does work. But when I get a result I do not want, can I actually stop and think about what happened without the result having it mean that I'm not worthy, and without internalizing that as a meaning of who I am, just looking at it like a scientist, like it's a result. So if I bomb a set, it's not that I suck, it's not that I'm terrible, it's more like, what did I do to create this result that I didn't like? Notice, what did I do, right? Because sometimes the audience just isn't feeling you, and so you need to gather a lot of data. Sometimes it's just not your day. But I think it's really important to make sure the results outside don't determine how you feel about who you are as a whole. Just like Edison, negative results, good scientist, adjustment, try again. And I'm so glad that I gave this some thought this week, because I have been playing small. I've been downplaying myself. I've been undercutting myself to other people because I didn't want to be delusional. But this clarification that someone will always think I'm delusional anyway, and that I can absolutely be certain of my value and examine my results in an impartial way for best results, gave me the confidence to say, you know what? Other people might think I'm delusional or not. I think I am awesome. Thank you for watching, and as usual, like, subscribe, and comment. Bye.